Hello, welcome to Caffeinated Castons YouTube channel. My name is Therese, also known as Caffeinated Castons. Welcome. We are coming to you fresh faced this morning, which isn't really like out of the ordinary over here. But it is Sunday, September 22nd. I need to finish my coffee. And this is episode 42 of Caffeinated Castons. I am a North Texas-based knitter bringing you a video version of Ravelry project pages showing you my making and knitting progress and what I'm working on. I have been knitting a little more than 3 years and it's been a fun time, and it's just so exciting and fun to share my projects with you. So thank you so much for joining. We've got a lot going on over here, okay? It is September 22nd, so if you don't know, today is the last day of DFW Fiber Fest, so I hope you were able to come. If you weren't, that's okay. I hope you were able to enjoy from afar or just really enjoy your knitting time. So if you don't know, DFW Fiber Fest is a knitting and fiber, which is like a fiber arts convention in Irving, Texas. It's just outside of Dallas. And there's so many vendors, classes, demonstrations, and it's all indoors, which is great because it is still hot here in Texas. Yeah, so let's get into the episode. I'll get to Fiber Fest stuff a little bit later. But this week we have finished objects, new cast-ons, Fiber Fest haul, upcoming knitting plans. Yeah, we've got a lot to go through today, so buckle up, get your coffee. I am drinking my coffee out of my new mug. This is something I got at Fiber Fest from Hun Bun Studios. So it's in my pickle era. I love pickles, and so I saw this mug and it was the only one left. I think some people had bought some earlier in the day, and I kept passing by. Every time I made a lap, I was like, it's still there, it's still there. So I committed and I bought it. And it's like my prized mug right now. So that's, yeah, Fiber Fest thing number one that I purchased. Okay. Let's start with some finished objects. I've got a lovely finished object here. Let me show you. I finished my Calivada Shawl by Casey Knits, and it came out so beautiful. It's hard to show because of the size, but it is a like right triangle shawl, and it was such a fun pattern to knit. It's great, I think, for beginners, very beginner friendly. And it's kind of got like this, I want to say faux color work because you're working with a lot of slip stitches. But it's so great. I am obsessed with how these colors knit up together. I knit this in Massive Skeins in her fingering weight, and I left the tags somewhere else in the house. But the colors are Dirty Cowboy, and then the red is Rodeo Queen. These were her show colors that I got for my first Fiber Fest, actually, back in 2021. I want to say that's correct. But yeah, it used the full 2 skeins. I had like maybe this much left of one of the colors, so I just threw that in my magic knot ball. So I'm a little sad because I wanted to keep working with the yarn, just because I love the colors so much, but that's okay. It is so beautiful, and it is already blocked. I blocked it pretty aggressively, I think, just because I really wanted to be able to wrap this around my neck. And then the only thing I did different is in the bind off. So it calls for an I-cord bind off, which I did, but instead I decided to hold my 2 yarns together. So it has a little bit of a thicker bind off. So that's what I did there. Yep. And yeah, so finished object for September. Finished object number 2. So last week in that episode, I had gone on a work trip and I was at the airport and I was wearing a pair of knit socks and I realized like something happened with the yarn and it started unraveling at the toe. So I had to repair the sock and I picked up the stitches. I originally wasn't planning on repairing the sock just because I was so focused on finishing that shawl. But I ended up picking it up. I picked up the stitches and ended up fixing it. I want to say, I think it's this toe. But fixed the toe, and then now these socks are just as good as new again. So kind of a refinished object, if you will. So that was super nice to have done. I have a new cast on, which originally I wasn't going to cast on anything new, especially socks, which is what this is for Fiber Fest. Just especially after finishing summer sock camp at the end of last month, I kind of wanted a break to focus on some other projects, but going into Fiber Fest, because the only project that I have on my needles right now was my cardigan, and that's such a large object to bring. It's not super convenient, especially since I'm holding 2 cakes double. And I brought it anyways, but I also wanted something I could just like knit on if we went to lunch or, you know, just something easier to access. And so I did cast on a new pair of socks. And this is a pair of vanilla scrappy socks that I am working on 9-inch circulars. So here's what we've got so far. This looks so good. It almost looks like, it reminds me of ice cream or something. But this is just scraps that I have been collecting and throwing into bags for scrappy socks because I've already knit like something with them. And then I wound off 20 grams to go into my scrappy blanket. And then this is just leftover. So let me show you the bags. I've just got them split, into bags. And I don't know how long I'm going to make the leg, but so far I've just done 20 rounds of 2x2 ribbing, and I'm making these stripes 10 rounds each. Yeah. So this was done, I think I cast on Friday morning before I headed to Fiber Fest, and then just worked on it throughout Fiber Fest whenever we would sit and knit for a little bit or whenever we would go to lunch or dinner. So there is a pair of socks on my needles. And then, I'm just following the Crazy Sock Lady. She has a pattern. I believe it's just called Vanilla Socks on 9-inch circulars, but that's the pattern I'm following. And then I'm working those on a US size 1 on 9-inch. Almost forgot to talk about some whips, so let's talk about my Novice Cardigan by Petite Knit. So I am doing the chunky edition of the Novice Cardigan by Petite Knit, and I have finished the length of the body. So I did, let's see, where was I last week? Last week I was down here, so probably like an inch more is how much I knit. And the length is perfect. It's right where I want it. And so now I can start the ribbing of the hem. It's so good. I was knitting on this for a little bit at Fiber Fest, and I was doing a fit check, and someone they were nice enough because I was like trying to prop my phone up on the table, try it on, back up. And then she's like, do you want me to take a video of you so you can like see it? And I was like, that would be so helpful. Thank you. So thank you, kind stranger, for doing that. Yeah, so finish the length of the body, which is what I wanted to accomplish by this week for goals. I've got this much left yarn, left. And so I need to go ahead and join my next 2 skeins to work the hem. So I am going to do the spit splice method again, work the hem, finish that, and then cut that yarn and pick up for sleeves. So goal for this upcoming week is to finish the ribbed hem. Okay, last whip, I actually did pick up my last Afghan square. So for those who are new, sorry, I'm like trying to get it together. For those who are new, all of last year I took, and into like the beginning of the summer, I took a knitting class at a yarn store where you are building an Afghan, but you are building it block by block. You're building like a 13 or 14 inch square, and you're learning a new stitch technique each time. And then you seam it all together and add a border, and that's your Afghan. The class has ended, and I am still on my last square. And I actually picked it back up. I originally wasn't going to, but since I finished that Calivada Shawl and then repaired my socks, I picked it back up again. I don't know what this stitch is called. It is cabling. It is a mess because I messed up multiple times. But you can kind of see what it's going for. But yeah, I picked it up, did a few rows this past week. So I will continue to knit on this week. No really goals for it. Just want to maybe do 1 or 2 rows, but just keep knitting on that. Okay, I think that's it. So the majority of this, well, basically the rest of this episode is all going to be about DFW Fiber Fest. I'm going to give kind of some general recap of Friday and Saturday. Those are the 2 days I was there. And then I'm going to go over what I purchased and any project plans for these things. If you don't want to watch from here on out, go ahead, feel free to click off. That's totally cool. But yeah, that's pretty much the rest of this episode. But I had a plan and semi-followed the plan. But we'll get into it. I have a lot of exciting stuff to show you, and I'm so pleased with what I ended up coming home with. So as I mentioned, I was there Friday and Saturday. And Friday, I was there like both full days. I saw some of you recognized me and took pictures, said hello. So it was so nice to meet you in person. Thank you for saying hello. It was so sweet and so fun to connect with you in person and just talk about knitting and all that good stuff. Fiber Fest is so fun, but it can be so overwhelming because there's so much to look at. There's people you haven't seen in a long time. You're trying to take it all in. I came out with zero pictures, 0 footage. So originally I was going to insert some like market footage, or pictures from like the booths and everything. I got 0 of that. Okay. Which is a good thing. Like I was enjoying myself. There was so much, but yeah, I did not get anything to show you. So I'm so sorry. Like even on Instagram, I only did a couple of stories. And again, it wasn't even I don't know. Anyways, it was so fun. What was I saying? Yeah, so Friday was great. Did a couple of laps of the vendor hall, and I really focused on just making note of yarn that I liked and the shops that they were from. Also kind of comparing different price points, because originally I was looking for some type of alpaca lace, because I was considering making a cumulus blouse, which I ended up not getting yarn for, but I'll show you what I did get yarn for, but it's exciting. But really just making note of things that I would want to get, and really just scoping out all of my options at the different booths, seeing what new vendors were there, what returning vendors were there, looking at the show colorways to see if there was anything that was going to stand out for me to get. I don't know if I got any show colorways this year. This might be the first year I didn't get one. We'll see whenever we unpack what's all in the bags and stuff. And then went to dinner with some friends, and then went to the bingo night. I did not win. There were some great prizes for the bingo night that Fiber Fest hosted. Like, people walked away with really nice bags, yarn kits, patterns, and like it was really good. I was sad that I did not win, but it was really fun. I discovered that I might like bingo, like with like the big sheets of the cards and like the daubers. And so I think my friends and I might get into bingo. Yeah, so that was kind of Friday. And Saturday, a little bit slower because I was on my feet all day. I knew better. I wore the wrong shoes on Friday. And I knew I should have worn different shoes because I did last year and my feet did not hurt at all last year. But I ended up wearing my Vans, and those are a flat, like there's no arch support in Vans, you know, if you know. Yeah, so my feet hurt really bad. Friday night, Saturday, I wore some Birkenstock sandals, which better foot support, but my feet were killing me at the end. They hurt today. And I should have done what I did last year and just wore my tennis shoes, some New Balance tennis shoes the whole time, because I don't think my feet hurt at all last year. So note for next year, because you're walking, the whole vendor hall is concrete. It's in a convention. It's in the Irving Convention Center, and it's all concrete. What is a nice touch, some of the vendors put like the cushy like puzzle piece mats. I don't know what to call them, but they're very similar to blocking mats. And that makes a huge difference whenever you're spending time in the vendor booths. But yeah, you're on your feet pretty much all day, unless you're taking a class and you have like a 3-hour sitting break. But yeah. So yeah, Saturday, I mean, both days were very similar. They went by in a blur, but made more purchases the later half of Friday and the first half of Saturday because I had an idea. Like, I've spent enough time going through each booth and figuring out what I wanted, narrowing down stuff. So with that said, let's get into some purchases. First thing up is not a purchase, but Passion Yarns. They had a booth. Oh, and I will try my hardest to link things down below with either like the shop link or their social media page or something. I will try my hardest. Because some of these are new to me and I didn't even know like where to look for them, but I will try. But Passion Yarns, they had a little like please take one free sample, and so I grabbed this pink, and this is super fun, one, just because it's so nice that they do that with like their different with their yarn, so you can really just take it and see it before you purchase it. But this is just a fun little addition into my magic knot ball that I have going. Okay, actual purchases. So By the Bay Bag Co., they had announced a while back, I think they're removing their shop from Etsy, and I think she is shifting to just wholesale. And DFW Fiber Fest was going to be her last show. So I knew this ahead of time, and I knew I wanted to get a bag because I have like a big bag from them that I got last year at a trunk show at Juju Knits in Fort Worth, and I really liked the bag. They're very nice, sturdy canvas bags. And so I made my way over there, chatted with the husband, and there was some fabric. I got a bag. I think this is the medium-sized bag. And just look at this color. I loved it. This is an older fabric that she had pulled out. So it's not as structured. It's not as structured as some of the more like recent canvas, but I loved the color so much and I was okay with this structure. And I knew I just had to get it. And it has like a little wrist strap. It is drawstring. And then it has pockets on the inside. 2 pockets, and then there's yarn in here that I will show you that I bought. So yeah, by the Bay Bag Co. Okay, let's get into this yarn. So I got a single skein from Madeline Tosh, and this is on the Twist Light base, which is a 75-25 superwash merino 25 nylon, and this is a fingering weight yarn, and Bird is the word is the colorway. And I just love this so much just because of all the different speckles on a more neutral base. Like, I think this will make a very pretty pair of socks that can go with a lot of stuff. So I got that. And then I got a ton of minis. So originally one of my plans was to be collecting minis to potentially cast on an anthology throw. Because I was going to kind of build my own advent with coordinating colors to make that throw, but I held off on that because I am working on a DK jelly blanket, which is a scrappy blanket, and so I think all of these are just going to end up in the scrappy blanket. I didn't want to have 2 such large blankets going, and I've still got a ways to go on that one. But yeah, so that's just kind of like some context for the minis. But let me kind of hold them all together. And these are from a mix of shops, but I will break them down. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 minis. Okay. So let's see. Let me try to group these together. I've got these 2 from Leading Men. Yeah. Leading Men Fiber Arts, which I have worked with their yarn before. I've made a pair of scrappy socks. Yeah, and these are just so fun and bright. And then I got, let me see, this one from A Chick That Knits. And these are all just 20-gram minis. That's so pretty. And then from Euphoria Knits, they had like a 5 for 25, I believe was what it was. So I grabbed 5 minis, and these all really kind of coordinate together. But they're so beautiful. And I got those. So I'm really excited to include these in my scrappy blanket. Or if I change my mind and want to do either a pair of scrappy socks with them, or, you know, do contrasting heels, toes, cuffs and some socks. But yeah, minis are such a great way, especially if you are on a more limited budget that you want to work with. These ranged anywhere from maybe $6 to $10. I think maybe $8 is the most I paid for an individual one. And a lot of times they'll bundle them together, or it's like buy 5 for a certain amount. So these are a great option if you really want to buy more without spending as much. If you're a sock knitter, a scrappy project knitter, or just, yeah, so that could be an option for you. I did show that I got the mug, and I just realized I forgot to show y'all progress on whips. Like, I didn't do my whips. Maybe I'll cut that back in. We'll see. Let me finish the Fiber Fest stuff and then I'll go back to that. Okay, some stuff I got. Oh my gosh, who is this from? Fangirl Fibers. They had a booth with Pacific Knit Co. and someone else, but I got some needle stoppers, which originally were not in my plan, but these were so cute I could not. So I got these, which is the turkey from Friends. So cute. And then I got these, it's Bat Boys Fan Club, which if you've read ACOTAR, you know. So those were super fun. I got a few stickers. I don't know where they're at though. I'll have to see if I can find those. But one of the stickers I got is a Snorlax from Pokemon, and he's wearing a knit beanie and he's asleep with some knitting on his tummy, which was so cute. I got one for me and one for my husband because he loves Pokemon. Okay, so these, I think I'm getting into the last two purchases. So the first one, oh, I think my stickers are in here. Hold on. Yes. Okay. So here's the Snorlax sticker. It's so cute. Yeah, I got two. Okay. This next one is from a new vendor I had not heard of before. So I don't know if they were there last year or not, because this was just my first time to actually see and experience their booth and purchase yarn. And that is Pearls and Postulates. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Is this their card? I don't want to like show anything. Oh yeah, so hand-dyed yarns inspired by math and science. So here's their little business card that they gave me. They had some really cute stuff. It was very like school science experiment themed setup in their booth. And they even had this cute pouch, and I kind of regret not getting it, but it was like a, what was it called? I can't remember, but it was like a play on words about STEM, and it was like, so like science, technology. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking? I can't think of it, but it was really cute. It was really sciencey, and I really loved that little zipper pouch. I wish I would have got it. Anyways, I think this was their show color actually. But I got, I think it's called Keep Learning. Actually, I don't know what this colorway is called. We're going to figure it out. Anyways, so knitting plans. I decided that I wanted to knit a ranunculus. I have trouble pronouncing it. But it's kind of like a choose your own adventure pattern. You can have it long sleeve, short sleeve, unfinished sleeves, rolled hem, finished hem, and you can knit it like in multiple weights, I believe. But just like however you want to knit your gauge. So I'm very excited. And I could not decide if I wanted to knit a tonal or variegated version of it. And then I saw this yarn. I believe this is the show colorway. And I'm not familiar. I want to say the colorway is Keep Learning, or it's Escape Velocity, but this is on their Harris sock base, which is 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon. You can kind of see their card there, but I got 3 skeins, and so whenever I got there, this was on Saturday that I bought the yarn, I believe, right? I want to say it was Saturday, and there was not much left, and I am really pleased that I got these 3 colors because, well, these 3 skeins of the color a lot, because with yarn is dyed so differently, especially like more indie dyers. Some of the skeins were a lot more blue, a lot less purple, and I was able to hunt through the pile, and I really like the blend and outcome that I got. So I got 3 skeins of this. A lot of booths had ranunculus on display as sample knits, and one that I saw was, I think, the size I'm going to end up making, said that she got through it with like 2 skeins. So I got 3 just to be safe, because I'm so paranoid that I'm going to run out of yarn. Yeah. So it's so beautiful. I'm so excited to knit this up. I don't know when I'm going to cast it on. I'd like to make more progress on my cardigan, so we'll see. And then, like I mentioned, I could not decide if I wanted to knit a tonal version or a variegated version of a ranunculus. So I got a tonal as well. So this is from U2 2 yarn, and they are based out of Waxahachie, Texas, which I think I've heard of them before, but I never realized where they were from. But I got some yarn from them as well in this beautiful tonal. It's coming out more gray on camera, but there is like some very much purple undertones. Like it's more of a purpley gray. Let's see if I back it up a little bit. I don't know, it's hard to pick up fully, but this is on their Fabulo sock base, which is 85 merino, 15% nylon. And I just realized this isn't super wash. I typically like a super wash so I can put it in the wash, but I think this should be fine. I might just need to hand wash this one, but we'll see. But yeah, hand painted, nature inspired. They had the most beautiful colors. I probably spent the most time in their booth because of all of like the jewel tone and moody colors that they had, and their yarn felt so good, like on the different bases that they had. Like I wanted to buy it all. I was in there so many times. Like the guy that was helping out in the booth is like, I recognize you. You're back again. You're back again. Good to see you again. So it was so funny. And then whenever I finally bought yarn, he was like, so happy you're committing. So it was so funny. The colorway, I don't think there's a colorway. There's just a dye lot, I believe. So GB86 is what it is. I don't think there's an actual color that I see here, but so beautiful. Yeah, so 2 ranunculus quantities queued up, which I like because this isn't a full sweater quantity. So a bit of a more inexpensive option, but still with like just a beautiful top. So very excited for that. Oh, I forgot to mention, with my purchase at Pearls and Postulates, I did get a free 3D printed notion. And so I got her bobbins. Look how cute those are. And this is going to be so nice because I've been using like bread bag, like the little square twisty closure things. So that'll be nice to actually have some actual bobbins. I think that was it. Because then I also got the mug. Okay, let me backtrack a little bit, and I'm not sure how I'm going to edit this, if I'm going to leave it here at the end or go back. We'll see. Okay, I think that is everything. There's so much. There's some other stickers I got, I think, but I don't know where they are. I'm still kind of unpacking my bag that I took with me from Fiber Fest, and it's a mess in here. So we're going to go ahead and close her on out. And typically at the end of each episode, I say 3 simple joys, which is, which is just 3 things that I'm thankful for that brought me joy. And this week I really just have one because there's so many components of it, and that's just Fiber Fest. It's seeing friends, knitting with friends, getting new yarn, like just the yarn and fiber community in general. It was so nice, and I'm so glad I went with 2 of my friends, and we haven't seen each other in a while, so it was so nice. So that's just like my one big joy for this week. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you come back next week, and we'll see what the heck is going on next week. I hope to have the body fully done of my Novice cardigan, like the hem done on the body, and hopefully I picked up stitches for the arm, and we'll see what else I knit on and see some sock progress. And so until next time, stay caffeinated.